How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal, and today we're going to take a quick look at a game based on future sports. Well, I guess the beginnings of what could eventually be a future sport, right? You see, back in the 80s and 90s, most depictions of sport in the future were just brutal. I mean, even before that, going back to the 70s with rollerball. But yeah, we had stuff like rollerball and the Running Man and the little game that the kids used to play in Solar Babies and stuff like that. And all of this stuff seemed like it was entertainment for a dystopian future. Well, this game is another in the long line of that, right? This was originally released in 1988 on the Atari ST under the name Speedball. And Speedball was really popular on a bunch of different platforms. So the Atari ST, Commodore 64, Commodore Amiga, Sega Master System, PC, Apple II, bunch of other stuff. And eventually it landed on the NES in 1991. Underwent a name change and was published by a company called Sofel, which we've discussed some of their work earlier this year with Wall Street Kid and Dragon Fighter. Today, we're going to take a quick look at Klash Ball. Alright, now Klash Ball title screen and the theme music and all that stuff, all of that just kind of gives you a good vibe as far as what you're going to get with this game, right? When you start playing the game though, it looks real gray and drab and blah, but it's not a bad video game in the slightest. Actually, I'd say it's pretty doggone fun. The game is played from a top-down perspective and borrows rules. The rule set for this game is like a hodgepodge of hockey and football and lacrosse and handball, and just they put all that in a blender. Oh, and Powerball from American Gladiators. They put all of that in a blender, and this is what you get. You play in this little arena, this little field. There are these little bumpers on the field that will knock the ball back and forth. There's a launcher that comes up and fires the ball out after every point. There are goals on either side of the play field. And when you start a game, you can set the amount of time that a match lasts. The shortest amount of time is 1 minute, and you can go from there. This game is a lot faster than you might think it is. It actually feels like it gets a little bit faster as the game goes on, especially if it's a really strong defensive matchup. Lots of contact, ball bumps all over the place. You have energy meter, your opponent has an energy meter, and the point is to score as much as possible so that your energy meter doesn't deplete before the game's over. You're going to get your butt kicked by the opposing team unless you really know what's going on there. You do dashes, that depletes your energy and all that. But yeah, you go through there's like a league setup. You can only play as like a couple of teams from start. And you move up and down the rankings based on how you perform in league play. You can use the bonus that you get after each match to upgrade your team. While it's not a whole lot to look at, it's a whole lot to play. And it's a lot more fun, like I said, than anyone would expect it to be, just from looks alone. This did get a sequel of sorts, Speedball 2, Brutal Deluxe. That got ported to the Sega Genesis. So, this was the only one of these games to appear on the NES. Later on, a couple of years later, Genesis got a sequel. Both games are available on the Sega Master System if you have a Sega Master System. So yeah, Klash Ball or Speedball is a really fun game. Lots of sequels popped up on other consoles too later on, so keep an eye out for those. If you decide now that you want a copy of Klash Ball, it's actually not hard to get a copy. About $20 get you a loose cart on the NES. It's a really accessible game. It's a really easy to pick up and play game. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I'm a fan of it. I didn't think I was a fan of it. The more I've played it as I've gotten older, the more I've enjoyed this game. Because your boy don't really get down with sports like that. But this is wacky enough that it's a lot of fun. But this has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow, an adventure fit for the whole family. Even the family pet is playable.